Hey, what's going on, peeps? It's your boy Freeze with the weekly live stream. And today, we're going to keep it kind of simple, man. We got some new stuff in playtest to mess around with. And so, you probably guessed from looking at the thumbnail, um, Lightspeed and Ironbison, Killbison, because Terror's watching. He already got on me once. Are coming to Legacy Batch. And we got kind of a rough shell of what he's going to be, but there are some plans for him that might come to fruition. So we'll talk about some of those plans. We'll talk about what the playtesters are discussing a little bit, and this is not the finished version. I'm going to go ahead and preface with that, but we can start to gather some ideas a little bit, see what you guys want to see for old Killbison and Lightspeed. So let me know in the chat, what do you want to see for Killbison and Lightspeed? That's Ironbison in game. Um, yeah, and let me know in the chat, what do you want to see them get? And also, we got some new combat bots coming our way. So it's going to be CL and Ozu. So I actually got a pretty workable version of them in playtest. So we'll go take a look at that. And, none of this stuff is finished content yet. But same thing applies. We can kind of see what your thoughts are and see if there's any improvements you want to make. I always like listening to other people's suggestions. I don't know everything, but yeah, man, I like to get in there and get them opinions and go in there and play test. So should be a good stream. And you know for those in the United States, happy 4th of July, when we have tomorrow. So also, with it being 4th of July, a lot of us gonna be cooking out and stuff like that. Let me know what's on your menu for the 4th of July. I'll talk about mines after we go take a look at the newsletter. So we got the event Crossroads of Time. It's week 2 of the Saga, and it's an individual totalizer. Now, Space Ape usually does a shorter event when we have 4th of July weekend. It's a lot of American players in the game. I think it's actually the majority. So 10K event, short, sweet, simple. And then they're going to have some red, white, and blue shards that you can pull. And we'll take a look at what those hold in a minute. You're going to have 30 start chests, and you're going to have 25k premium shards, 7.5k 3-star shards, 200k spark, 200k combat spark. I don't like it. My head's cut off in there. Let me stretch that. Actually, let me stretch that out a little bit. Boom. So yeah, that's what we got there. You can see the price charts. Now for that red stripe crystal, you're gonna have a chance at some red Crimzeeks. 50% chance there to get 5 of those. 25% chance of getting 155 star shards. 25% to get Combiner Spark. There'll be 15k of that. The white stripe crystal, white Crimzeek. Then you can get 25% chance at 4-star shards. 25% chance at Spark. And then the blue ones will have blue Crimzeek, and then you get a chance for 300 of your 5-star combat spark, and then 25% chance also for 15k combat spark. So let's see the start chest. Let's see what they got here. 32% chance for combiner spark, 32% chance for combat spark, and 32% chance for regular spark. So 10k each of that, if that was what comes out of your chest. And then you get 1% chance for, so they got 100k of each spark, or 1,000 5-star shards. So you get a 1% chance of each one of those. So not bad. It's always pretty good for 4th of July events. You'll wind up coming out with something good. Typical battle zones. And make sure that you support all of your content creators. We got Engineer Horse, myself, Soldier, and of course Sunstreak Awaza. And make sure you support all of your unofficial content creators as well. I actually saw somebody in there hyping up recent Mercenary Terror video. He got some good stuff out there. So, and a couple of other guys out there. I'll shout them out as I go through the comments and everything like that. But man, support your content creators, man. Yeah, man, make sure you support those guys, get them channels running, man. It's a thankless job sometimes, man. So make sure you do that. All right, Saga schedule. So we're in week 2, like I mentioned. We got the 4th of July special. And to be honest with you, there is one problem that I saw with the schedule. Now, last week's event was good, and already saw people in the comments in the chat saying that they got some stuff. They got some rank skips. That was an amazing, amazing, amazing event. I thought I was gonna finish it. I wound up cooking out, doing all kinds of other stuff, so I wound up not finishing the event. But one problem I had last week was that when you consider that you have Alliance HQ and you just had endurance the week before, you're not going to be able to. Most alliances are not going to be able to fill back up on their XP. So for us over at Horde, we actually had one guy that he couldn't really, we didn't charge the XP beacon on Friday because a lot of people work on Friday. And well, we wind up charging it, but he was like, "Hey man, I need to go try to get all my points today so I can get my additional XP." And people are trying to go load up all the additional XP. So he was like, "Hey man, I might end up leaving the alliance for the day, go in there, get my 50k points, come back tomorrow." And I just don't like the the game putting us in that position because we don't got a lot of charges left. We got one full charge because it takes some time to charge back up after the endurance event. And I understand what was happening. I understand why there was a 50k last week. Um, first off, it was the end of the quarter last week. So yeah, you're gonna try to go generate some more revenue, and I get that, and I'm not upset about that at all. But the other thing is, that it was gonna be a Fourth of July event this week. It's gonna be a shorter event, so you don't want to have back-to-back 10k events. People don't like that, so that's how we get where we're at. But I do find it strange that you still got to be determined for the week 4 event in the what a week 4 event in both sides of the Saga in season 30 and season 31. I mean, it should just be endurance bot for week 8 of season 31, and it should be combat for season 30. So I don't know what's to come of that. I do find it interesting. We do have another to be determined for 5-star legacy. Those should be the ones that we just know what's going on off rip, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens to the Saga schedule. I think it should be pretty straightforward, and we'll see what happens. But all right, community corner. He got some cool artwork there. Blah has got his art up there, and then that's a nice little collection up there for Blast Madness 1984. So yeah, no, cool stuff. All right, so the following bug fixes and improvements go live for tomorrow. So they said punch his ability has been fixed. It will no longer freeze. There's no target in range, and they got a stability fix for crashes of the game. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. They're still working on a list of future fixes and improvements. So they're working on the crashes when equipping combat cores. They want to fix the attack alliance member mechanic, and they're still working on replay. So the list got a little bit shorter since last week. We'll see what happens. And then the Apes want you to know that they're streaming on the 25th of July. I'll actually be on leave at that time, so I'll be fully engaged at that point in time. And that's what we got for the news this week. And so let's go see what's going on in the chat. And let's see. All right. So I think Mercenary Terror was first this week, he says, and he wants to remind you guys, as he usually does, to make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. Like and subscribe to his channel too, man. He's fucking great. So make sure you like and subscribe to both of our channels, man. But like I told you guys before, I'm trying to get paid, G. So I mean, I'm already making some money. I actually got a check coming in soon. But yeah, man, like you get give me that ad revenue, G. So go ahead and like and subscribe to both me and Mercenary Terror. Uh, the homie Daddy Pig in there, and I might have missed somebody up there at the top because I can't see the top of the chat right now. But I see the homie Daddy Pig joined. Thanks for joining. Um, Mercenary Terror said he was attacked by a player named Daddy Pig earlier today. So uh, odd coincidence. Let's see. We got one of my good friends and one of my members, Candyman, is with us today. Thanks for joining, Candyman. And as always, Candyman says we need Cyclonus in the meta. I'm sure that day is coming because Cyclonus is gonna be a combiner beast. So yeah, he's got to come eventually, and that's what I wound up saying in the chat. So, but thanks for joining, Candy. We got Blade 19 with us again. Thanks for joining, Blade 19. Jackson Bass is with us again. And he says, I'm ready for this. Hey, I appreciate the enthusiasm and I appreciate you joining the stream, buddy. He's talking about Lightspeed. He wants Lightspeed to be in the game for context. The homie E Rods is with us again. Thanks for joining, E Rods. My good friend Jacada, fellow playtester and channel member, is with us again. Thanks for joining. Another one of the members, C.O.M.B.A.T, actually joined last week, man. I'm glad I was able to get you through that. So thanks for joining, C.O.M.B.A.T. Perry Free is with us again, and thanks for joining, Perry Free. Jimmy Watson's with us again. Thanks for joining, Jimmy. You know, the homie Skinny or Oil Man is in there with us. Thanks for joining, Oil Man. Kristen Jones is with us again. Thanks for joining, Kristen. Speaking of content creators, Jettison C4 is with us again. Make sure you check out his channel, man. He did a lot of that. He do a lot of good content, man. So make sure you check him out. And thanks for joining, buddy. All right, we got Dark Lance with us. Thank you for joining, Dark Lance. Nemesis Enforcer is with us today. Thanks for joining us, Nemesis. Let's see, did I miss anybody? I see I got Ian Anderson with us. Thanks for joining, Ian. Hey, Mercenary Terror says I wasn't just called great, I was called fucking great. Yeah, man. I mean, you make great content, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta add those additional words in there to get flair, man. It draws attention to it, man. That's why I don't mind cussing every now and again on the stream, man. So everybody's like, wait a minute, he's fucking great. Let me go check out this channel, bro. I got you. And to answer your earlier question, I don't really collect figures anymore. I did most of my life. And I still got a lot of stuff. I still got my childhood toy box in my garage. My garage, I'm actually making. I told you guys this, I think, last week of the week. I don't think I streamed the week before, but recently I told you guys that I was working on my little lounge and everything for the NFL season. So my toy box is in there. So I still got the Constructicons in there. My kids actually get me some toys from time to time, but I ain't really got nothing special, man. I got a RED edition, Soundwave and Shockwave, and I just got I got like an Optimus Prime bobblehead, and I got all my old stuff that I had from growing up, stuff like that. So as far as my figures and stuff like that, and I'm a G1 fan. Um, I'm more in the comic books than I am in the honestly, to keep it a band, I'm more in the comic books than I am in Transformers. But I never read the Transformers comic books for real, so that's strange. But but yeah, no, I do. I got the childhood toy box, man. I got a Ninja Turtle toy box. It's about this big, and it's got all of it. Ain't got now over the years. I got some of my stuff in there, and I got a lot of my my now teenage sons. I got a lot of their old toys in there as well in my garage. But yeah, man, I'm a big old nerd, man. Dark Lance just got a G2 Grimlock for his birthday. That's what's up. Candyman says we need 5 star. 5 star. Hellbat as well. You know, Fellbat in game, Hellbat from the lore. Um, yeah, I was already talking about that. I was talking about that in playtest, Brody. So yeah, man, that's where we at. And I just realized I did not have my camera on this one. Let me get up there, see if I can. But yeah, man. So let's take a look at this combat, man. The combat should be coming out in a couple weeks, and I just want to take a look at what this guy can do, man. So let's go over to the core lab. We'll enter the lab and we'll take a look. We got CL and Ozu. Now, all the concept art isn't done yet. Um, that's common. This is Jesse's project or whatever, and he wants to give us as much time for testing as possible. And so, one of the things that we get is basically he told us straight up. He's like, "Look, we're trying to make it like Shroot, but we're trying to make it a better version of Shroot." So, yeah, you know, we'll see how it comes out. So let's actually take a look. And so with Ozu and CL, this is what you're looking at. I'm looking at the 5-star version right now, maxed out. And it says heal allies around your target for 42%. Now that part sounds awfully familiar to me because when you go look at Shroot, he's got that same 42%, right? Alright. So like they said, they were gonna try to make it like they're gonna try to make it like Shroot. So the difference is, and this is only the first day that we had it. It's the first day or the second day we had it. Like they told us about it yesterday. They gave it to us today to start testing. And so they were saying that every 10 seconds you and your targets are going to reflect 20% of damage for 8 seconds. Now, for me, this leaves me, I'll be honest, reflection and I had this conversation with some of my playtest buddies today, but reflection isn't as strong as it once was in Transformers Earth Wars. And I'll give you to put some context to it. Let's look at some bots that were really big for reflection and see where they are in regards to the meta. So for me, Tantrum, I'm not going to tell that story again, but Tantrum was my dude. And you know, once we started doing the max health boost, you know, he reflects 60% damage, and that's not enough, you know, to keep up with the current meta. Now, I ain't got him maxed up on the test server or anything like that, but even at level 67, which you usually stay at for a little while unless you coin the heck out of them, you know, at 43k, no max health boost, even at 60% reflection, it's just not viable anymore. So that's hot spot for you guys on the Autobot side. Apologies. Now, over in Horde, I'm starting to see some guys that actually like uh, Exhaust and Trailbreaker, but he's at 32% reflection. But what made people started liking him is when they started to get the max health boost. When you get that heal at 3% for the ability 11, and so we're not using this bot specifically for reflection. We're using them after you get the ability 11, and then that's what actually kind of carries them. So without that ability 11, would people really be using it? It's only like 2 players I think I know that was actually using Exhaust at that point. And so that's what I'm kind of looking at in this regard. So all of that said, when we go look at a bot like I wanted to say Shroot, but it's not Shroot. It's new school Shroot, Ozu, and CL. But Shroot and Rung, you know, did the 40%, 2%. So we're used to that. And then Ozu is going to do some reflection. So let's take a look and see what that looks like on the battlefield, and we'll see what happens. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to look at some of the comments that we get in the chat. So it says here, So Dark Lance says another medic combat. Yeah, it's another medic combat, Brody. Yeah, Candyman says I don't even use Tantrum anymore. Tantrum was my dude for a long time, especially after you get the ability 11, but it's like he's not usable without them. I think, and I was having this conversation with playtest buddies earlier. I think Space 8 might be slightly overvaluing reflection, which is why, and I said it earlier to some of my buddies, I think the percentages might be a little bit low. I do want to do some more testing before I go submit my survey to Space 8, but I think we can get more reflection out of this dude. So now that I will agree with. So Oil Man says that Rook, that's blocked for us on the Decepticon side. His reflection is legit, and that's 100% true. That was a massive upgrade for him when he got his ability 11. Uh, well, actually, was that his ability 11 or his G? I think that's his G1. So that reflection is fine. That actually worked out great. Um, so that I agree with, and it depends on the bot for the most part, right? With bots like Tantrum and Hotspot, I think what they could have did with them is have given them a little bit more of a. They could have gave them something. They could have gave them a smaller max HP increase, and that would have been fine. But they didn't give him shit. So now he's not usable really at all. Oh boy, that's a good question. Candyman says, "Why didn't they just buff Shrew? They could have buffed Shrew wrong, and but." Hmm. Now, like I will say this though, this is the first version that we're looking at. I don't think that it's gonna stay like that. But to your point, when you go make something almost identical to existing content, maybe you could just go in there and just buff Shrew. So I don't know. I am excited though that it is another healer combat in the game though. So I think we need more of those. So we'll see. But let's take a look. We'll go into the prime zone real quick. Um, won't be an overly difficult match, but it'll be a match we can use to kind of look at what this combat does. So for simplicity's sake, I will use bludgeon and I'll use my healer. And you can see that it has this little reflective shield. Looks just like Tantrum and Hotspot shield. It's real short-lived. And one of the things that I was looking at with this particular combat, so it operates a lot like Shroot. But one thing I really don't necessarily like it's just that one target, and at 20%, like is that worth unequipping Shroot, adding in like a new combat, using on your spark to level them up? Um, we'll see. Now, like I said, this is the very first version. We might make them much better, so we'll see what becomes of it. But it's a nice little touch. Um, I'm not going to crap on it yet. I just I don't know exactly what's missing yet, but I do want like a little bit more out of it from than what we have right now. Like I said, this is the first day of testing. We have essentially 2 weeks to get it right. So let me know in the comments, what do you think that it would take for us to make this a viable option for you, something that you want to use in different levels of war? Let me know in the chat. But it's um overall it's interesting. Now I will say one of the conversations I was having earlier with fellow playtesters is I would actually like every time we talk about reflection, you talk about absorption versus reflection, and one of the things we were talking about is, did he actually? Let's look at the tooltip again so we can take a peek at that. But it is going to help your healer because it should be shielding him and the target. Now, from a visual standpoint, it's not showing that visually. So I do want to talk to Space Ape about that. I said, if you're gonna have a shield, you should put the shield on the healer too, so you can see it. But I don't know. I just want more, and I don't. I was thinking at first that it was just gonna be a percentage, but I don't think it's just gonna be a percentage. I think it's something else that I want, and I just can't put my finger on it. And I want to be able to put my finger on it before I go in there and fill out the survey. But that's what we're looking at in that regard as far as the new combat. So let's take a peek at the chat and see what folks are saying. Oh boy. I already seen some comments that don't look good, so let's check it out. Uh, let's see. So we got a comment in there that says this combat looks like crap. LOL. We got one comment that says, "Oh yeah, new combat." And then of course the one says this combat looks like crap. Then he says, "Just kidding." And then so in regards to the, because we were talking a little bit about Lightspeed and Killbison, and one of the things they were talking about was they were talking about that they got lost it. Oh, that we still need C.O.M.B.A.T for the combiner for the Decepticon side. So one of the comments that I saw from Dale earlier today in playtest, he was saying that with these combiners coming out, they say don't even expect to see Computron Lyle Kaiser until at least next year. And another comment that came out today was that these legacy bots are going to come out in just normal batches. At least that's the plan for right now. Now the plan might change. That he's not saying that. I'm saying that the plan could potentially change because we already have a major backlog of bots right now for endurance, and so I think that's going to be a negative blow on the game. As if we go get legacy bots and they take forever to come out. You already got to do 2 endurance bots per batch. There are going to be people that are going to be sitting around waiting for like a year or two to go get their 5-star combiner pieces if they don't hit this event. So might put a little bit pressure on unless they tell us definitively what the plan is going to be. I do want to have a conversation about that soon with Space 8 because I think it's going to be. I think there needs to be a definitive exclusivity period for new content. And some people get upset if it takes, you know, 6 months for the exclusivity to wear off. I think that's reasonable. All right, I'd even be able to say if it's really, really good content, if it take like 8 months or whatever, I'd be fine with that. But we need to know when the exclusivity period is really going to be for like endurance bots. We get this huge backlog. Bots don't come out for like a year later. It's a little bit too much. So Mercenary Terrier says, "Aren't we all nerds? Freeze. We do play a game about giant robots beating the hell out of each other." Fair, fair. Well played, man. I said, and the thing is, I don't. Sometimes I don't be like feel like I'm nerdy enough because I just look around and like some of my friends are like nerds, man. And it's like I casually watch anime. I say I play Transformers, make content and stuff like that. But man, let's see. I see Spencer 394 joined us. Thanks for joining, Spencer. Says maybe additional healing would be helpful along with reflecting damage back for that bot. So yeah, I mean it's got some additional healing or additional compared to what we got now. Um, that could be good or bad with the additional healing. But I say I'd love to see more reflection, but I don't know if that's all I want. So that actually came up. Candyman made another good point. It says, "Wrap back combat with a Micronus effect, so can't be that hard." So one of the playtesters did say that he wanted like an anti-hack, and I was inclined to agree with him that we should get like that. That would be great. That'd be great. That'd be something that's usable. Um, the problem that I have, and I'm actually gonna show this with multiple bots on the battlefield. One of the problems that I have with healing combats, though, is the healer is gonna go to whoever has the least amount of health, and it's going to move from place to place. So it's not going to be a definitive like we're going to stop you from hacking. It's going to be like whoever has the lowest health, I'm going to stop you from getting hacked too. And I was like, when I think about it and say it out loud, ultimately, how helpful is that? Now there are ways to navigate it. You guys know I'm all about my survivability. So there's ways to navigate it, but are there ways to consistently navigate it? That I'm not 100% sold on. But if somebody, I'm not a good idea maker, so if somebody can come up with something, who knows? I'm a refiner, is what I always call it. I'm a refiner. I can tell you what's wrong with something, and then that's where the ideas will flow. But just to come out with ideas out of nowhere, I'm not good at that at all. Just keeping it a band. So yeah, like right now, he's focusing on half shield, or he was, and giving half shield a shield. Now it's on block, and that's what I'm saying. They can just go from place to place to place. Now in my war team, and this is like a modified version of what I actually use on the live server. Um, that actually could be helpful because if there were bots that were going to die, it's probably going to be my half shield, and it's probably going to be my blot. So yeah, it could work. Then the other problem that I was running into is when I did my initial test, is you gotta wait for that healer to walk to if you do have a split for whatever reason, you gotta wait from that healer to walk from one bot to the next. So ultimately, me personally, I do want to see more reflection. Ideally, I want to see more duration. I mean, reflection isn't quite that strong in the meta anymore, so mm, you know. Hey, Big Blade. Speaking of content creators and good friends, Big Blade joined us. Asked what he missed. Man, you missed all of it, Brody. You missed all of it. Nah, I'm just messing with you. We were just in there talking about the new combat. It's a healer type combat, stuff like that. So, Kristen Jones asks, is the 40%, 42% basic heal, would that include the Ray booster? So, I will ask that question. I will tell you this. Typically, when you're going to deal with like a combat like that, typically they're looking at base stats only. But I will go get clarity because I don't want to lie to you. And so hopefully I can get answers to. As a matter of fact, let me go on my phone and go into my notepad and write that down because I don't want to forget that because that's a reasonable question. But yeah, nah, good question. Now I'll try to get back to you, Kristen. Let's see. King Grimlock says endurance plus legacy backlog means they should get one extra batch done per year. I agree with that, but that doesn't seem like there's a plan because it seems like they only come out with 4 batches a year, one for each quarter. So we'll see what happens. But I do agree with you. 8 to 10 months. And I take the back. So I just said that 8 to 10 months. Um, Exclusivity. I'm okay with it, but it is a long time if you're waiting, especially if you're waiting for something like a combiner piece. But to let you know the people that spent a bunch of money on it enjoy it, I'm okay with that. But then conditionally, like for combiner pieces, I'm like, man, like that's tough. You can't get the combiner without that 5-star. So that's what's gonna happen in this legacy batch. That's probably gonna be what forces me to go for the bot, but we'll see. Yeah, Dark Lance says a year wait is too long for bots. It is, but KG did say 6 months seems proper for maintaining interest, and so maybe that's the sweet spot. I started off saying 6 months. You're saying 6 months. Um, maybe 6 months is the sweet spot. Kim Bayano says increase the percentage on the reflection, make reflection absorb damage as well. Yeah, and we did talk about that too, and I think it. I'm when we started talking about it, and I'm not sure if it's in there yet because, like I said, this is my first day testing it. I'm gonna come back to it, but absorption. I think I agree with that. Absorption should take place. Spencer 394 says he's good with ideas. Yeah, shoot him out. Yeah, Matt Parlay, thanks for joining. Matt says a refiner. Don't forget an open mind. There's a use for each bot, but many give up before they figure it out, and that's the purpose of my whole channel, Brody. Like when you and that's the way that I test. When I go into play test, I test trying to say, hey, how can I use this? What is this good for? No matter what the bot is, it could look like the bot could be like looks like absolute dog water, and I'm gonna try to figure it out. Ooh, comment in there about hollow shielding. Yeah, that could be cool. Merc, I'm gonna need you to stop that. That's not true. You make unique power core pairings, but when I tried them, your power core pairings actually work really well. So yours aren't bad. Ian Adamson says, "Oh, my bad. I mispronounced your name earlier." Ian Adamson says, "Throw a reflect grenade." Um, so yeah, I mean, but I've seen that the grenade abilities aren't necessarily as popular as some of the other abilities, but I would have to see it in action to see if it will work really well because I could see it. Darkland says maybe reflections to stick on the target for 5 seconds after a healer moves to another target. That that I like. That's dope, and that's real forward thinking. Because now, I mean, well, actually, I guess technically, the thing is that has to work within the timing of the. It has to work within the specific timing of when the bot actually procs. So, hmm, something to think about. Yeah, Oil Man says make the combat shield the healer, or it heals the healer along with the splash. That'll be good as well. So your healer, and that's one of the things I was talking about earlier with some of my buddies. It's like you do want the healer to last a little bit longer in battle, and for me, ideally, I would like to see something. I would like to see something that. Where is this? I want to see something that makes everybody stop using this shit as much. That target protocol, or something that makes it not as viable. Make us use something different in the mortars, man. For fuck's sake. So the homie Trax is in the chat, says the batches are getting boring. Actually, they will nerf Blue Streak when he comes out at the end of the year. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say I've been super excited for batches lately. I think a lot of people are starting to look at combiner pieces and stuff like that, or there's like one or two bots that you want per batch. But it's like I'm not dying to go for every batch. Like right now, I'm actually going for Skull. I'm going for Skull Cruncher, Skull Skull Smasher, but which is Warpath for you guys on the Autobot side. And I ain't even been touching some of the newer batches or the newest batch I haven't touched. So yeah, I mean, batches aren't as strong as they were about a year or two ago. But yeah, hmm. I'm not gonna do that today, Merc. But I say I do want to actually use that. He says use crankcase, blowpipe, and quintus. So I can see it. I'll try it at some point. Yeah, Dark Lance says the current batch is viable because of Slug Rampage, and a lot of people that I saw that pulled Slug and Rampage this past weekend really, really like it, and it's a combiner piece, so I'll have to go in there and get it eventually. But yeah, absolutely right. So let's take a look at now. Keep in mind we haven't actually done really much of anything with Ironbison, Killbison yet. Actually, I went in there. I want to look at. So all we did right now is add stats to them. I think there's still going to be room to add an ability 11 to them. So I didn't go run it to ability 11 right now because they didn't actually. It doesn't look like they actually built one. It's just like the upgrade bonus for it. So we got room for that. We got a lot of room to work here. Um, for Iron Bison and Lightspeed, I love the cost. Now, I do want to share something with you, and we don't know for sure if it's going to end up that way yet or not, but this was shared in the Unicron chat, and it was also shared in the playtest chat. So they were talking about doing something like this. They were talking about giving them max health increase, and that in itself, I think, would make them really, really viable. That'll actually be an option that we could use for war at any level if they get that. But wait, there's actually more. So this is not the this is not even in play test yet. This is the conversation that we're having about trying something like this because Legacy Batch is Dale's project, and then he goes and tries a lot of stuff on completely separate server and everything like that, just to play around with. And he does a really good job. Legacy Batch has been, I feel like, a success so far. So that's what we're looking at. But this is what we got right now, just bare bones, just hey, giving them more health, giving them 5-star version, giving them more damage, stuff like that. So if they do it the way in that I just showed you in that graphic, that could be huge. But the other thing that play testers are talking about right now is making them pop outpost, and I think they are agreeing to let him pop outpost. My only concern that I have, and I was expressing that to my playtest friends earlier, is if he has that ability, that cheap ability to reduce that movement speed by 70%, is he going to pop it and then instantly go make that outpost bot have reduced movement and attack speed? If so, that's overpowered as fuck. If not, I'm perfectly okay with that, especially if they wind up getting the max health boost. I think 200% is going to be too much. I think that will come down if we decide to go in that direction. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I don't like to talk too much trash until I actually test stuff out. And I've been very, very consistent in that regard. So, so let's see what's going on in the chat in regards to what we've seen so far. Candyman says by the time they get around to Dead End and Cup 5-star, no one's going to care. I think that might be the goal. They still scared. I think they still scared that Dead End and Cup gonna be OP. I don't think they're gonna be OP, but I play the game every day, so Trax got all the bots from the latest batch. And it says he's leveling. Okay, so yeah, he's leveling a few grapple, slag, and AB. Yeah, a lot of people love the buff to Rampage and Slug. KG says that Slag will be on the war team. He says, but I'm at a critical mass. What's the point of 50 plus 5-star bots? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we use about 12 to 15. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is. And that, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be a meta, but that's why I've been pushing for us to do more war effects changes. We started talking about war effects changes, I think, like 2 months ago. We hadn't heard shit. So I think that's the way you do it. Uh, for us players that have a lot of bots, and it makes you use them. And a lot of people, a lot of the conflict comes because a lot of the OG players that's been around for a minute will be like, well, I'll just use this bot and I don't have to go chase anything. Well, maybe it's not your time to chase. Maybe it's time for somebody, a mid-tier player, to chase. But you have to adjust your strategies and stuff. And for me, that's okay. I'm. I don't know if you're the only person that uses them, Merc, but for Ironbison, but yeah, I mean, I think that they're not using them at top levels, and I think there's an opportunity here where we could use them at top levels. Yeah, man. Shout out to Grim Studios. Fellow content creator and good friend of mine says, "Damn, 5-star Iron Bison." Okay, so KG KG corrected me. He says Dale is agreeing to let him pop Outpost. The apes have not agreed to that. So good catch. That's two different things. It's Dale's project, so Dale's going to carry it to the team, and the team will tell him to tell us what they think about any proposals. So like even let me go back to that graphic. So even this is Dale's idea. That it might not change to that, but right now we're being positive, ideal state type talk. Uh, that's what we're that's what the gears in our head are saying to us right now. And that's what I was saying. Candyman asked me would he have to hit the outpost bot for him to get the slow down. I would think so. I just want to make sure. But yes, we are working on Lightspeed and Ironbison. Grim Studio says he's having a lot of fun with Bludgeon. Thank you for that, because people, man, it's crazy, man. Because we have Headstrong and Pipes, there are some people who just will just use that as an opportunity to crap on Bludgeon or whatever. I hate it. Um, I've never tried to go take away credit from the other ones from Pipes or anything like that and Headstrong, but yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're using it for, man. For me, if I can stun an entire section, then I like that. So Alpha Trion one joint and says, "Sorry I'm late, y'all. I was prepping 5 briskets and a mess of ribs and chicken for tomorrow." Good God, I need to come to your house. Like y'all sound like y'all got it going on. So I never told you guys what I was making. So what I'm actually gonna be making, I'm keeping it simple for the fourth. I will be making. So I'm gonna do. People really love my burgers. Like these are really good burgers, like a third pound burgers and stuff like that. So I'm gonna make my burgers. I'm gonna make generic hot dogs. I'm gonna do pulled chicken, and then I'm also going to be doing some brats, and then I'm gonna do of three different types of kebabs. So I'm gonna do beef and chicken kebabs, and I'm also gonna do alligator kebab. So that's what I got on the menu. Everybody else is taking care of sides and drinks and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to doing that alligator kebab though, because I only eat gator like once or twice a year. So yeah, nah, and Grim, you're absolutely right in using it like that. You use it for use bludgeon ability for a tank and for outpost stun. So yeah. But yeah, man, I'm glad some of y'all gonna go in there and have some good food, man. You know, it's like, man, y'all in there talking about making brisket and stuff. Now, I did brisket for my son's graduation and stuff like that, so I didn't do one this time, man. Brisket expensive, gee. So I didn't do it this time. And I actually started to see people making smaller ones for when it's just your family, but I'm probably gonna be feeding about probably 15 people or so. And then when that happens, it always winds up being a couple of extra people joining in. So um, we'll see. But I'm planning for feeding about 15 people. So I'm actually going to start prepping some food after this because I'm not cooking tomorrow though. I'm cooking on Friday, but I kind of got volunteered to help somebody else cook tomorrow because they don't grill very often. So I was like, man, bro, I want to prep my own food tomorrow. I don't got to work tomorrow, but I'm gonna help them out. So we'll see how it goes. But I got invited to two cookouts tomorrow, and then I got friends coming in from out of town on Friday. So that's why I'm not cooking until Friday. I like this already because there's a pretty good amount of damage available in that kill zone, and just with them having a decent upgrade, just with them having a decent upgrade for being a 5 star actually works. And it looks like they gave him some range too. So and I wonder. What I am wondering is if this cost will go up on this thing once they make the ability better, because right now it's super cheap. But man, like, granted, this is an easier base, but these guys are barely taking any damage at all when you go use this ability. And it's a cool ability. I actually like it a lot. I would have preferred to have Center Twin have been in the batch or in the Legacy project, but I definitely like this. Like I said, if you guys never saw my video that I made about a year ago, it was like all speed team when it was all speed boosters and or people to decrease speed and stuff like that. Man, it dude, speed dealing with speed and Transformers Earth Wars is hella fun. Yeah, and it's gonna get tough. That's a good point, Kristen. It's gonna get tough going for these combiner pieces because there are batches that I can like completely skip, and now I'm going backwards to go get these batches, and so you've only got one for Predaking. I think I still need three to complete Predaking, so it's gonna take me some time. Let's see. Big Blade asked what's my 5 star Sentius look like. So I'm on test server right now. I don't have 5 star Sentius in my live server. He's the only one I didn't get out of that batch because I had to move on for combiner pieces. Matt Polly says I should have kept the freeze theme alive at the barbecue and made chili dogs. I see what you did there. Yeah, now everybody talking about brisket. Thanks a lot, guys. But now I made brisket twice since the summer started, so I'm giving it a break from brisket. But yeah, I'm gonna do one more before the end of the summer. I probably do one. I'll do one when NFL season pop off again. How about that? But all right, guys. I am going to call it a night. Thanks everybody for joining in. Make sure if you didn't leave a comment or if I didn't respond to your comment today to let me know your ideas for Lightspeed and Killbison, and also let me know your thoughts for improving CL and Ozu. I will reiterate that to the apes, and hopefully I have an update for you guys next week. And also next week, I want to talk a little bit about the year in review so far, and that's what I was actually going to talk about today. Just kind of go look at mm, how all the content in Transformers Earth Wars is going mid-year, and then we'll take another look at it at the end of the year. So I may do that next week, but other than that, man, I will see you guys next time, and I'll also see you in the battlefield. Freezy is out.